In every movie and television review, I always prime a focus on the music and the composer and the score and their contributions to really the storytelling of what you're experiencing. But I got to tell you right now, there is no one on this planet that is more iconic and has a body of work more legendary than John Williams. Folks, you got to, with whatever you do, you need to stop what you're doing and check out the new documentary, Music by John Williams. And here's my review for that right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new film, Music by John Williams, which is debuting on Disney Plus November 1st. Wow. First of all, this runtime of like an hour and 45 minutes has been one of my favorite watches this year. It's not even close. There's been some amazing documentaries this year. And you know what's very coincidental about them? They all tie back to John Williams one way or another, because his body of work easily makes him one of cinema's greatest composers of all time. And I have to be honest that upon watching this was truly a masterful tribute that just really deepens our appreciation for one of cinema's greatest composers, because each and every note resonates with an emotion and an artistry that really defines his legendary career. John Williams has scored some of the most iconic films and shows and properties of all time. There's no Star Wars without John Williams. There is the Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman. There's no Superman. There's no Superman flying without John Williams. Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. One of maybe the most iconic scores of all time, even though I did say Star Wars, and I'm sure that probably is really it. But one of my favorites truly is The Schindler's List. And I got to be honest, choking up even talking about it. It's the most beautiful score ever. And the fact that we get to play it, that they play it in this, the fact that you see how it came about, the story behind it, is so beautiful. It is really so beautiful. And John Williams being a part of this documentary, really taking us through some of his most pivotal moments in his careers, some of the decision making, so many lovely and beautiful folks that was around him and supported him throughout the time. One being his BFF, and no other than probably the greatest filmmaker of all time, and Steven Spielberg. Wow. And for this younger generation who just may not know, I mean, before there was a Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer and all of the movies that they've done, I mean, without a doubt, you had the duo of Steven Spielberg and John Williams. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of banger after banger after banger. It's just it is the most iconic collaboration of all time. This is, you can't even say the Jordan and Scottie Pippen. It's just like the Jordan and Jordan. If you had to make this dream duo, I mean, it's the Jordan and LeBrons or the Jordan and Kobe's. You could maybe even say the Shaq and Kobe's here. But like the two of them and what they have brought to our screens, they are the bar. They are the upper echelon. They are the Mount Rushmore. They are the GOAT. And in this, really highlighting John Williams and everything that he's done, it's one of the most beautiful documentaries I have watched ever. With that being said, if there is a greatest hits album out there, somebody please send it to me. Vinyl, preferably, because in watching this, it's just nothing but pure happiness, pure appreciation. Each and every theme that you hear, you recognize it, and you feel it in your bones, the goosebumps, the hairs on your arms, because you just remember the first time that you've heard these melodies and these themes, you know, and understanding that this one guy who has shown so much range and so much diversity, you know, considering even the movies that he worked on at the same time, and even the fact that like they're so drastically different in terms of the scores, you know, and with that too, like, you know, he has such an appreciation for music itself. Like, this is a guy that did the jazz theme and the cantina scene in Star Wars, and like Jazz as a black brother here, you know, I'm looking like Jazz. He pulled this off, and he did. And because he has a jazz background, which is something you may not know, but like understanding like this is a pure artist to the T. When you want to look up somebody to study, to almost want to try to mirror your career after, John Williams, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is the book, the Bible of what it means to be a composer. He's given us so much that honestly, I don't even know if we're worthy, because a lot of these films that we love, when you start to, you know, think about the different moments, whether it's the dialogue and the actors, I mean, none of that works without the music that contributes to it. And I just recently just said that I love how composers are now getting mainstream love. And I think this documentary coming out at the time that it is very important, because while we are celebrating a lot of our premier composers right now, and there's so many iconic ones, I'm sure they all looked up to John Williams, who's still alive. I'm talking as if he's gone, but like John Williams and everything he's done for over the years, he is the GOAT. John Williams is that guy. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. The top, the number one. And there was a lot of people that paved the way before him. But I think in my generation of what I have been able to see, much like people may say like Michael Jordan's not the best player they've seen, but based on generational conversations, John Williams is that guy. It's not even close. He's just that guy. But in terms of the documentary, the production is good. I mean, obviously intertwining so much of the music, seeing, you know, the live stock footage of what he's been able to do, the history. So obviously all the things that you learn from it, it's all in there. And even some really never before seen moments, looking at some of the music that he wrote that comes out of the Sony archive. So obviously this being on Disney Plus and everything, having that moment, being able to share that, hearing testimonies from the folks that he has influenced, you know, folks who's been a part of some of the projects, some of the folks that's even had particular moments in the film scored particularly for them. Imagine having a John Williams theme, you know? That's what we're talking about here. I mean, even as some folks, I'm sure that, you know, knows him personally, calls him Johnny, understanding why he went about the name Johnny after John after a while. I mean, it's all in there. There's no rock unturned. And at the age of 92 right now, I mean, he's won award after award after award, endless nominations. I mean, this guy, I just don't think we're worthy when you really think about all he's done. And again, I've named some of his most iconic properties, but even that, it goes so much more deep. He's done endless concerts. And when you think about like movies like Jaws, and which were on like the top Billboard charts, and Star Wars, it just goes on and on and on. I don't know what else to tell you, but you have to check this out. From a man who pretty much started his careers in the 1950s and currently still being so important to so many properties and IPs and projects right now. This is one of those things where, like, please, folks, as much as you love some Star Wars and you want to talk about, you know, oh, you know, when I think Star Wars, I think this and I think that. You think about some of the characters, you know, I love Mark Hamill, you know, Lucasfilm, but like you gotta include John Williams' names anytime you mention some of these properties as like either your the first or the second reason why these things are synonymous with one another. Like, he's just that person. I really enjoyed this. Really a fantastic documentary that you do not want to miss out on. It's an hour and 45 minutes, which at some points could be a little intimidating. I promise you, if you've never been to like a live concert, especially one with a live band or orchestra, it's an experience that you totally want to ensure that you do at some point. But by watching this, you really feel like you are in one, because the storytelling within the music, which is how he does his music, is like the same experience in just a very unconventional way, because it's a documentary that's telling you a story with all this information, but the music is telling the story as well, and you're able to also experience the music while you're watching it. And I gotta tell you, Steven Spielberg probably given the most. It gave me chills. He says listening to his score makes me see my movie in a different way. The legendary Steven Spielberg is saying this about John Williams. I don't know what bigger cosign you need here than to hear Steven Spielberg say that somebody else's music makes me see my music, my film in a different way. And I think that speaks so much about his talent, the trust, the relationship, just so much. So much. And as much as we love some Star Wars and George Lucas and Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker and Yoda, you have to throw John Williams' name in there, because that iconic theme, as soon as the music starts, yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy right there. So what a fantastic watch. I cannot stress enough that you want to go out the way and check this out. November 1st, only on Disney Plus. Jump in the comments. Let's get that John Williams love rolling right now. I want to know one of you all's favorite scores by him. One of your favorite themes of his. Let me know all of that in the comments. Definitely check out Music by John Williams, premiering on Disney Plus November 1st. And as always, stick around for more reviews and content here at Big Gold Belt Media. I really appreciate you watching, and see you back very soon.